Service above self. Now, have you heard of this phrase? As I mentioned in my messages and also postings, you must be a part of this wonderful organization to have heard of this phrase, or you must have had an emotional experience with this fantastic organization. What organization am I talking about? Tune in to hear more of it. A very good evening, everyone. My name is Waran, and welcome to the Waran Shanmugam Show. Today, Wednesday, 772021. Yes, 7th of July 2021. Yeah, a great day indeed. And we have with us an amazing personality, I must say. She was just crowned like 7 odd days ago as the district governor of Rotary International for District 3300. It is a prestigious position which comes with prestigious responsibility. Let me, with great honor, welcome Dato Bindi Rajashekaran. Hi there, Dato.
Hi, Warren. Good evening. How are you?
I am very good, Dato. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. I'm good.
Very nice. First of all,
Excited.
sorry?
Excited for today's
Very nice.
event.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, Dato Bindi, on your new assignment as the district governor. Yeah, almost 7 odd days now, I suppose.
Yes, it's been a very, very busy 7 odd days, and
Very
but it's been very exciting, I must say.
nice.
Thank you.
Nice, nice. And thank you so much for doing this, Dato.
Most welcome. My pleasure.
All right. Let me share a little bit about this show, yeah, Dato Bindi. The Waran Shanmugam Show is a space for sharing inspiring stories. Now, I say this because we have had women from different walks of life sharing their real life stories, their upbringing, struggles, and also their achievements. Now, the whole point here, Dato, is to tell everyone out there that they too can do it, and that they are more than what they think they are. I am more than I think. I personally believe that everyone has got great potential, but they just do not know just yet. And so the many people out there, remember this, yeah, you too can achieve more. Do follow us in our Facebook. I am more than I think. Click like, click share. So, Dato Bindi, let's get started, shall we?
Sure.
All right. I always like reading the first few pages of a book. Now, if you are like me, Dato, I have to read it like more than once just to understand where the book is heading. And I'm going to do the same here as a start. It's those early days of your life that I would want to ask you. Could you share, ma'am, a little about yourself, your childhood, and teenage life, Dato?
Sure. My childhood and teenage life, well, that was really long, long time ago. Anyway, I was born in Taiping, but my first memories was of those living in Kuala Lumpur. That is where my parents moved to after Taiping, because my dad was in the police force, so he moved from city to city. And that's where, after Kuala Lumpur, we moved to Sramban, and that's where we settled till my dad retired. So my first living memory in Kuala Lumpur was filled with memories of sights of snakes and scorpions and monkeys and centipedes. Because we lived in this huge police bungalow, which is next to a forest. And and those days we didn't have windows or grills in the homes. It was all just windows open wide and with fresh air coming in. And breakfast time, you'll find the monkeys jumping in and stealing our butter and bread and things like that. So that was my early childhood memories, including memories of snakes coiled around the kitchen pots, and scorpions in our school shoes, centipedes running under our feet. But you know what? Looking back, all these experiences laid the groundwork of making me tough. And I don't get scared easily. And I'm quite calm in times of crisis. And you see, I think that was what laid the groundwork. And we also had experiences of the haunted kind. All these old bungalows, normally they've got a very, history about them, and I remember my mom always speaking about the tap outside. It will be on by itself in the middle of the night. And there was one time when, as a kid, I came down with small chicken pox. And when the kid has a chicken pox, you're quarantined in a room.
Yeah.
And I was quarantined in this small room, which happened to be the closest to this haunted tap. So I spent my nights, in fear, and under my blanket, wondering what is going to appear next. But you know what? That experience made me stronger, and I realized there's no such thing as ghosts. So
Mhm.
I don't quite believe in ghosts or of the paranormal kind. So touch wood, I've not seen any so far, and hope not to see any in the future as well. And the playtime was in the garden. We used to climb trees, play in the rain. Now my grandchildren just have a few drops drop on them, and I'll be screaming, "Come in!" But those days it wasn't like that. We were playing in the rain and climbing trees and things like that. It was so wonderful. And being the youngest in the family of four siblings, I was, of course, pampered and shown the most love. And I had a very normal upbringing, nothing very exciting, obedient daughter, enjoyed school, and most of my studies was in Sramban in the King George Secondary School and the primary school as well. And for us, the highlight would be to go out with our friends. We didn't have devices then to communicate, and it was fun. It was so much of fun, and I used to be very you know, involved in co-curricular activities,
Mhm.
in school, swimming and librarian, debating, Red Cross Society, and that's my granddaughter.
That's nice. That's nice.
The brother irritated her, so she's crying.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
hands
that's
full, I
about,
must say.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you spoke about a lot of things, yeah, and you did say that you were pampered at one point, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's I want to know. Everyone goes through different styles of parenting, yeah. Mine
Mm.
was like, what they say, the disciplinarian type, sit down means sit down, but of course there was a little bit of freedom of behavior, just a tiny little bit, yeah. So can I ask what type of parenting that you've had, also a little bit about your parents, if you can,
Sure, sure, no problem. I'll be proud to talk about them.
please.
My dad, being in the police force, was a strict disciplinarian. But even more stricter was my mum. She came to Malaysia from Punjab after she married my dad, and you wouldn't want to mess with my mum.
Mhm.
One glare and the thing gets done. One slap, it means business. These days we don't even touch our children or grandchildren. But she showed her love in a lot of ways. She looked after us so, full of love and care. And she was the best cook in the world. And
Nice.
I can never forget the feeling of lying, putting my head on the lap, and that's the safest feeling anyone has, being in the arms of your mother.
Mhm.
So my mother had a very interesting history, and her family lived in a very small village in Pakistan,
Okay.
and during the partition, my grandfather had to, under the darkness of the night, had to pack the family up and flee across the border to Punjab. So I am very compassionate about refugees these days, because I understand how they feel, where they're coming from, what they sacrificed, and what they had to go through. You need to be up close and personal to have an experience like this to understand. So, and a couple of years before my mother passed away, one fine day she just called us and said, "Look, I want to go back to my birthplace, and can you take me?" And me and my husband said, "Sure, of course, we'll take you." And so we flew to Amritsar, took her across the Wagah border, stayed in Lahore a night, and the next day we hired a car and driver and drove to look for this village. After some time we found it, and how the feeling is about, when a car drives into a remote village, what the reaction is from the villagers. They all come out, to see what's happening. Who is this?
Just like in the movies, yeah.
Yeah, who have lost their way or something. So when we alighted from the car, there was already, I think, the whole village out there already, and surprises of surprises, this old wrinkled man walked up and said, "Are you so and so's, our landlord's daughter?" I recognized my mother.
Oh,
And it was so, it was a unforgettable moment. And that guy spoke perfect English. He was, I think, about 80 plus years or something. And I realized that they were brought up during the colonial times in Pakistan, and they had their exposure to English and everything. So once they realized who we are, everybody gathered around us, offered us some refreshments, and you could see they were so visibly poor. The whole village, was so visibly poor. And they could not afford to host us, much less, give us any food. But the beauty of it, they all came together. One family brought the Punjabi bed for us to sit, another family brought a stool, another family brought some biscuits on a plate, another family brought tea in their best chipped cups, and that was the best cup of tea I ever had, full of humility and love, and it was so touching. So looking at them, the Rotarian in me came out. Every time for me is thinking about what can I do? What can I do? So I asked the villagers, can I help you guys? What can I do for you? And I thought they would be asking from me some self-needing needs, like better housing, accommodation, or education for the children, or clothes, or things like that. Nothing
uh-huh.
of that sort.
Ah,
They said, "Okay, can you all come with us for a walk?" So they took us for a walk, and after about half a mile, we came to a unfinished building, and they said, "Look, if at all you can do anything for us, please, can you complete this building?"
oh,
So I asked, "What is this building?" And they said, "That's their mosque." You know,
oh,
for
okay.
them, their religion and faith is paramount.
Hmm.
And it brought tears to my eyes. That they were so dedicated and passionate about this. So anyway, on my return, I managed to raise a reasonable amount of money, and I sent it to the Rotarians there to ensure the mosque was completed. Then we came back.
Wow,
Yes,
wow.
that's my
Um,
story.
that's amazing. I mean, every time when I have my guests, right, that when they tell us stories, right, there will be moments of the goosebumps moments, I would say, and that's amazing. Very very touching, very enlightening story, I must say. Yeah. And Datu Bindi, now I know many of them out there want to know this, and I too wonder. What was your working life like? Could you share where you worked before, and then, of course, what do you do now? It's a question that everybody asks.
Yeah, sure, sure, no problem. Now, being the youngest and a girl, so my parents' priorities were initially towards educating my brothers.
Hmm.
They were much older to me, and that time, it's either doctor, lawyer, or engineer. Pick one, and nothing else.
Yes.
So obviously medical, during in the Punjabi families, it's all medical, that way, everybody goes that line. So my dad educated my two brothers, in medical school, and by the time it came down to me and my sister, the resources were exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my college in KL and then joined the United Asian Bank to work. And during that time, I did my correspondence course with the Institute of Bankers, London Institute of Bankers.
Okay.
So during the course, after a few years, I met my husband and we got married, and we moved to Ipoh, and we've been since in Ipoh. Ipoh is our kampong now, so to say.
All right.
Yeah. And once we moved to Ipoh and the children started coming, one, then two, then three, then finally four. And along the line, I gave up my job to look after them because they were quite a handful, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought I would rather dedicate my time to bringing up my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave up my job, but in the meantime, I did a few courses, in interior designing, which is a hobby of mine till today. And I also took up the certificate course in real estate, and I ran my own company for many many years. Gave it up, and now I'm a administrator and partner with my husband, who
Okay.
runs a legal consultancy in industrial relations law. So that's where I am now. But over and above all that, I'm a full-time Rotarian.
Definitely, definitely. That is amazing. Now I have got a couple of messages from the viewers, and I would like to share a little bit. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Susan says hi. Kiran says hi. Rajuin says
Hi.
well done. Lim with him. She's a Rotarian. Good evening, DG Dato Bindi and PP Waran. Roxanne says good evening. Rita says well done, Warren. Richard Elba says very good sharing, Dato. And Lim Bitin says DG, very touching story indeed. Yes. Paul Singh says very energetic and dynamic district governor. There you go. Yeah, we have got a lot of questions coming, but before I could go there, Dato Bindi, serve to change lives is the title of this show tonight. Yeah, and I'm sure there is a deeper meaning to it, man. Could you tell us what this actually means?
Okay, Serve to Change Life is actually the theme of our Rotary year this year. We have a new theme every year, and Serve to Change Lives is this year.
Okay.
But let me tell you what this means to me from a personal perspective. Now, I've always been passionate about serving the community, and one of my earliest memories was spending time at the police station. Now, I don't mean for the wrong reasons, it's for the right reasons, because my dad worked there and the police station was en route to home. So after school, we were driven to the station to pick my dad up, and more often than not, he was busy with meetings or something, and we used to walk the corridors of the police station. And that was my first up close and personal encounter with people getting handcuffed and brought to the police station, and I was very very small then, and that made me realize not everybody is good in this world. The world is not completely a safe place. There's danger out there, you see. And it used to make me wonder, why do these criminals do what they do, steal and murder and things? And there must be a reason behind all this. I mean, no one would just go and steal or do a robbery or something. There must be some reason, out of desperation or out of the need. So that is how I started thinking of how I can make a difference, how I can help the community to to create that that change in the lives of people, so that they don't go to extremes like this. And that
Mhm.
was where I started doing small contributions, small things, that whatever I could do in my capacity. So that is what it means, serve to change lives. Whatever you do, however small, however little it is, it does go to change someone's life.
Yeah, that's very very deep of a meaning here. Dato. Now, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are waiting to know more about this amazing organization. Yeah, could you like tell us about Rotary International and what do you guys actually do?
Okay, we are a service organization, 117 years old. So we have proven our worth that we are here to stay. Yeah, we're very, very established and very organized, very structured. And we have 1 million members all over the world. So when you become a member of a Rotary Club, you actually become an international member. You
Okay.
become by right a member of any club in the world. You have the right to walk in into any club during any meeting. So and we are very focused in what we do. We have 7 areas of focus, including peace building, disease prevention, water, sanitation, hygiene, maternal and childcare, economic development, and the environment. So there actually is no challenge that is too big for us. We can handle anything, and our motto is service above self. And
Mhm.
if you have a desire to serve, there's always a place for you in Rotary. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd always had this passion to help, and I was already doing it in small ways. But when I joined Rotary, I had a huge paradigm shift in my thoughts.
Mhm.
What I did as an individual, I could do tenfold or 20-fold with the same cost to me in Rotary. It's all about harnessing the experience and the resources within our Rotary circle, and multiplying our efforts so easily and creating bigger impact, and having a far greater reach to the community. So that is the beautiful thing about Rotary. Thank you.
Okay, okay. I mean, you talking about it itself is like interesting enough, yeah, for everyone to ask you how to become a Rotarian, yeah. And that's the message that I got, yeah. And I want to ask you this. This guy, let me just get this message. Okay, Kenny from Johor. He's asking, how can one become a Rotary member? There you go.
Okay, you must be invited to become a Rotary member. So,
Okay.
what we can help you is to help you get in touch with the nearest Rotary Club, or if you would like to leave your contact with Waran, and we will ensure a Rotarian or a club gets in touch with you and invite you to their club meeting. Normally, why you are invited is for you to have a first-hand experience of what happens in a club before you actually commit yourself to become a Rotarian. You must be very comfortable in the club. You must realize that this is what it is for you, and you must have that compassion and desire to help the community. That's about it,
All
and
right.
you'll make amazing, tremendous number of wonderful friends, not only locally but over the world. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So Kenny from Johor, there you go. If you want to become a member, you need to be invited. So therefore, drop a message to me, and then we will do the necessary things. And for all of y'all out there, if you want to become a member, it is very special. You need to be invited. That's how amazing this organization is. Yeah. And Dr. Bindi, I've got messages after messages. Yeah. Faiza saying hi, Warren and Dato. This is a lovely lady who we had a couple of weeks ago. She authored a book, and it's a fantastic book. You must read it. I'll share with you, Dato. And Susan says, "You look lovely, Dato Bindi." There you go. You've got a fan
Hi,
base already, Dato.
Susan.
Yeah? Karthi Palnisami says, "How do you have all this time to do all this?" Dato Bindi, you want to answer that question, Dato?
I'm I'm on a roll. I don't pause. I just get up and wear my jacket and sit in front of the TV the whole day. No, really, it's all about time management and planning your day, and it's been good so far.
That's
So,
nice. That's nice to hear. And really it is amazing, yeah, that question really means a lot because you have got a lot going in your life, yeah, and then you have got your grandchildren there, right, always wanting you to be by their side. Then you have got this DG ship. Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening. How do you really? What do you do? And I want to ask you this: when you get up in the morning, what do you feel? Do you feel exhausted or do you feel energetic? And if you do feel exhausted, what is the one, two, three thing that really pushes you back to on track so that you can do whatever that you can do or you want to do 100%? How do you do it, Dato Bindi?
Okay. You see, at one of the mental health talk shows that I attended, and one of the speakers said to keep your sanity during these pandemic times when you've got Zoom fatigue and multiple Zooms one after another. He said, look, very often people use two or three devices because you've got two or three Zooms overlapping. He says, don't do that. Just concentrate on one Zoom at a time. So I stopped switching on my phone for the other second Zoom and, trying to listen with one earphone and one ear listening here and that. And I find that it's better that way. I'm not stretched, I'm not stressed, and talking about what I do when I get up in the morning. I get up multiple times throughout the night looking at my handphone. What are the messages? What can I answer now? Because I receive few hundreds of messages a day, and sometimes if I fail to answer one message, it goes down the line and I will miss it. So I try to answer messages on the spot, as and when it comes. So, and when you get up in the morning, yeah, sometimes you do feel exhausted, and my granddaughter would have kept me awake the whole night or something like that. So, but it's always, a moment of gratitude in the morning that I'm alive, well, and raring to go for the day. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I've got some of your fan base also. Vijayan Sinasami, hi DG, RC Kinta Vijayan.
Hi,
And then you've
Vijay.
got John Sundaresan Jeratnam, hi DG, AG John here. So yeah, you've got plenty of people there. Now, for those outside, for those out there, remember this is an exclusive interview with District Governor, Rotary International District 3300, Dato Bindi Rajashekaran. Please tune in because there are a lot more beautiful topics coming by. And remember what she said just now. If you are into multiple Zooms, stop it. You need to just listen and focus on only one Zoom at a time. Yeah, remember that. Okay, so Dr. Bindi, I came across this statement here when I Googled women and Rotary. And it says here from Rotary Zone 8, New Zealand and Pacific Islands, and I quote, Rotary provides ordinary women the opportunity to do extraordinary things. Women have always had an influence in Rotary right from the contribution of Jean Thompson or Jean Thompson, Rotary's founder, Paul Harris's wife, who is often stated as being the power behind the Rotary throne. So, Dato, tell us about women in Rotary and what's the role Rotary play in empowering women. I know I've answered a bit, but yeah, go ahead, Dato.
Yeah, okay. Rotary, as I mentioned earlier, is a service organization, and women were only recently admitted into Rotary. We are a 117 or 116 going on 17-year-old organization. And it was just far back about 40 years ago during the late 1970s and early 1980s that women were allowed to be members of Rotary, and that too through a court case and a ruling. So women have been serving for the past 40 years, and we have made ourselves irreplaceable from the organization. And we are proud to say that many lady Rotarians have gone on to take top positions as club presidents, assistant governors, district governors, directors, trustees, and our soon to be the first lady Rotary International President, Jennifer Jones, who will take office the next Rotary year. So yeah, we have done well in a very short time, and empowering women is a very prominent focus in by all Rotarians. But allow me to speak on this about empowering the perspective of empowering women in Rotary by joining Rotary, how
Sure.
we empower women in Rotary. Now, first of all, there is no discrimination in Rotary. There's no gender discrimination regarding race, religion, color, or gender. So we are all treated equally. And we are all given equal opportunities to serve. And the leadership roles are given on abilities and the passion to serve, not on anything else. Okay, you must have the ability and the passion to serve. So being Rotary gives one the opportunities to improve your leadership skills, in leadership abilities, in all spheres, including public speaking. Because I do notice, even myself, when I first joined Rotary, I used to be very nervous to go up to and speak in front of the mic, so and that is one of the things that you learn, the confidence in public speaking. And also, you get to know a huge network of friends, or even business network all over the world, including locally and also overseas. And you manage to get, you will eventually come across contacts that will benefit you in your personal or professional life, or in your role as a Rotarian. So yeah, it's an overall facelift, or I should say, of your personality once you join Rotary, and to go one step further. Recently, I initiated a women's empowerment group that is open to all ladies in Rotary, including lady Rotaractors, spouses of Rotarians, inner wheel members, and so on. And this group is essentially to give each one another moral support, to tell each other, look, you matter, look after yourself first, because a woman is normally the core of a family. She has to be well before she can look after the others. And very often we forget about ourselves before,
That's right.
till it's too late. So that is one of the main focus of this group. We have managed to give them a medical card, which gives them huge discounts to go and have their checkups, medical checkups. It's something to encourage them to go and look after themselves. Yeah. So that is the priority we are trying to impress about women. Look after yourselves. You are important. You're valuable to your family, and you need that time out to look after yourselves in all areas. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I have got a question here also, but before that, let me show you this comment. This is Dr. Lau Bintik. Well done, Iswaran and DG Datuk Bindi. Good publicity for Rotary. Thanks for your selfless service. God bless. Fantastic. And also, Danish asking this question again. DG, what keeps you motivated?
Well, you know what keeps me motivated? With leadership role comes responsibility.
Mhm.
So since I've been given this very important position, I feel that I need to do my best in whatever way I can, to justify my position as a district governor. So I suppose that's what keeps me motivated, that I am in a position that I can do so much for the community. So that's a huge motivation for me.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that responsibility, that accountability is so important, so huge that you cannot stop even for a while. You need to keep going, right? So I've got a couple of messages here, Dr. Bindi, but so there's one question that is very, very different, I must say, but I won't ask that question now. Yeah, it's very controversial, but I will ask definitely later on. But there is another question by Priya Singh from Singapore, and she's asking this: I'm a woman and I have been avoiding a bigger role because I fear managing people, especially men. What advice do you have for me, Bindi Ji? She says. Datu.
Okay, thank you for that question. Now, you see, that is something each one of us need to do for ourselves. to raise your confidence level to face the opposite sex or the different gender. And you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset and understand that we are all equals. No one of us is superior, compared to the other, especially, thinking that traditional mindset that men are superior and women should be, at second level or something. You should take that thought out of your mind.
Mhm.
Everyone is capable, everyone is equal, and everyone should be given equal opportunities. So that is how you start building your confidence, and then you will be able to face the other gender.
All right, very
Okay.
nice. And Dr. Bindi, and I've got this very straightforward question: how Rotary have helped you personally? This is a very straightforward. You did mention a little bit here and there, but I just want to ask you: if someone asked you this question, right, what would you answer?
You know, when I became a Rotarian 24 years ago, I jumped headlong into service for community. I didn't even hesitate a moment. And I keep telling every new Rotarian, get involved.
Mhm.
Only then you will know the beauty of Rotary. If you just join Rotary and you take a back seat, you will not know the beauty of Rotary, of all these beautiful experiences. And I was very passionate about doing international humanitarian programs. I've done many in Cambodia, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, and those memories, those experiences, you can never get those experiences if you had gone as a tourist.
Mhm.
And one of my first trips was to Sri Lanka, and that time it was during the height of the war, and there was a truce. So we connected with the Rotarians in Sri Lanka, and we decided to adopt a village in Jaffna.
Okay.
So I took a delegation of 40 Rotarians. It was a first humanitarian overseas trip by our district. So I invited Rotarians from all over, whoever would like to join. The 40 of us went, and we hired a army plane to fly to Jaffna, and we landed, and it was high security. You could see all these guys with machine guns boarding the plane with us as our security, and everything landed in the police air base. And we were escorted out in a bus. You could see all the bullet riddle holes on the walls, and all these soldiers in the bunkers, and it was a very frightening sight. So we got settled in the hotel and we went off to the village. We had lots of gifts that we brought and everything. And it was a investigative mission, actually, because we wanted to go and see for ourselves what the villagers need. So we brought a lot of gifts and everything, boarded the bus, high security again, and went there. And the road was so narrow, dirt road, and the driver was telling us, and me and my husband were sitting right in front, chatting with the driver. And he said, "Look, don't tell me to stop. I cannot stop because there are landmines on the left and right of the road." So that gave me the fear of my life. I said, "Oh my God, I brought 40 lives, sitting in this bus, and I'm responsible for 40 lives." But
How
anyway,
could you do that? My God.
but everything went on beautifully. We went to the village, and on our return, we did a matching grant. We provided solar powered electricity, freshwater wells, and toilets for them. And later on, we followed up with a medical clinic for them as well. So it was, such experiences. How can you get it if not for Rotary?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly, right. And it's really scary. How being a Rotarian is not an easy task. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to do, especially during disaster. I've seen a lot of Rotarians going beyond their capabilities, beyond whatever that they have never done before, just to make sure that someone is saved, and that's amazing, I must say. Yeah, I've got I've got Chef Gaia who says hello, Mr. Warren and Dato Bindi. Chef Gaia is a fantastic vegetarian chef. And I have got this question, and I want to ask you this, Dato. As a governor, as a district governor for this Rotary year, could you share with us, if you can, your plans for this year, and how can people out there who are non-members help you in achieving this mission of yours?
Okay. You see, we to be appointed as a governor, this appointment is given to us 3 years earlier, 3 years ahead. So it gives us 3 years to plan our 1 year in office. So it has given me a lot of time to think of what I want to do and which direction I should lead the district to, and what would be the best way of doing things and so on. But when I started planning this, there was no such thing as pandemic. There was no such thing as COVID. All this only happened in the past 1 year, and I had already formulated my plans by then.
Mm-hmm.
But ironically, all my plans were pandemic related. The two areas that I wanted to concentrate on, one is environment and the other one is mental health.
Okay.
And now we know how the pandemic is linked so much to the environment. You
That's
know,
right.
it's a result of our negligence, of
Mm-hmm.
us not respecting our nature, of us not looking after our earth and exploiting it and exhausting all our resources. And all this happened when the humans came about. Our world has been about 4.5 billion years ago, and humans became only about 300,000 years ago, and pollution started 300 years ago during the Industrial Revolution. And that was just, it just takes 300 to destroy the earth to
Mm-hmm.
what it is today. So I had already decided then, that we will do something about environment, and we just finished our climate conference, global climate conference, and now the task is to implement what we decided during the conference. So it's going to be a long-term process, but I tell everybody every little bit helps. Even avoiding single use plastics goes a long way. We must start somewhere. We have to stop talking about it and start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our future generations at stake. And the other area is mental health, and this already I had in mind and were planning about it 2 years ago before the pandemic. And sure enough, it has escalated. The problem has escalated since the pandemic struck. And the need out there is so huge for mental health assistance. But that's another long story. I won't go down that path at this point of
Okay.
time.
Yeah, and you know what? I have been getting a lot of messages on that same note. Mental health programs that you have been talking about. You want to share a little bit? What do you have uh, uh, planned on this area?
Sure,
Dato?
sure. You see, mental health agenda is huge, is wide, is very sensitive.
Okay.
And we realized, we had stakeholders a meeting, like a brainstorming event. We invited all the stakeholders, including WHO, UNICEF, UNHCR, the Medical Council, MPA, MMA, and all of them came, and we were talking about it. And we realized there's so much to be done. So much is not done. So many areas not addressed. But uh, uh, don't get me wrong. Everybody, all the organization, associations, individuals were doing in their personal capacity.
Yeah.
But the impact was not there. The reach was not there. So we decided to create a platform for all the stakeholders. We created the National Coalition for Mental Wellbeing and brought them all together on this platform, which is which provides a centralized leadership and concerted efforts in our areas of focus that we have identified. So we are going on pretty well, just taking baby steps now, but we are seeing very good results and impact out there.
Oh, most definitely, I must say, and true, whatever that you were talking just now, I could see that passion in you. Yeah, environment and mental health. Yeah, these are the two very important areas now currently. We did whatever damage that we have done, but somebody have to do something about it, and there you are doing it. Dato Bindi, I've got Chef Gaya again mentioning, I love Dato's articulation and his strategic way of executing things. Yes. And Satya Vani Madhavan says, hello, Dato. Thank you for all the humanitarian work you do. Very impressive. God bless. May we know whether Rotarians help animals such as strays? If so, please share your experience. You want to share a little bit, Dato?
Satya, there's so much to do out there, and we don't ignore animals. We do care for them. And if you must know, our National Zoo Nagara was started by Rotarians. We started the Zoo Nagara, and once it was established, we handed it over. So there you go. We do look after animals, and it's looking after, talking about strays and all that. It's up to the clubs individually, because our clubs are autonomous. They do what they want to do. We don't direct them that they must do this and that. But I do share my ideas, like mental health and environment as a district project, and everyone accepts it. But it's left to the clubs. So do
There you
approach the nearest club if you have a problem, and probably they can assist you.
Fantastic. Satyavani, let us know which part of Malaysia are you from so that we can connect you with the nearest club. And also, yeah, Zoo Nagara was started off by a Rotarian. That's amazing, Dato' Bindi. And a lot of people are also saying this, yeah, on the same line of mental health. Finally, I'm hearing someone talking about environmental and mental health combination impact. Yes, and Danesh also saying, so glad mental health is given emphasis, especially young teenagers who are facing a challenging time during this pandemic. Yes, Dr. Bindi, there are plenty of stories that we hear now with regards to mental health issues, and thank you so much for doing that. Now, Dato, I always ask this question to the many guests that I've had here in my show, and I want to ask you to the same question, and it is very important, I must say. Women and discrimination. Dato, have you at any point of your life went through it? Could you share a little bit?
Sure, I'd love to share my experience of discrimination. Oh, well, it's during the time when I was vying for a leadership position, and I was refused the opportunity multiple times, not because I was not capable, but because I was a woman. Because
Ah,
that position was not held by a woman, before that, before I came into the picture. And so it was difficult to change the mindset of the people, to accept a woman leader. And every time I was rejected, I was repeatedly knocked down. But every time I fell, I got up, dusted myself, and trudged on. And finally, the mindset changed, and finally, they accepted me in the leadership position. You see, but my journey during those very difficult years of facing this discrimination really made me a stronger person. I resolved that, one day I will do this. And the most important element of how I succeeded is the support I received from my family members and my friends. They practically cheered me on. Never for a moment did they say you can't do it. They said, no, you can do it. You are special. You go and do it. You're capable of doing it. So that really built up my confidence. So I think your support system is very important. If you want to achieve anything in life, make sure you have a strong foundation base and support system around you.
yeah. I mean, it's very. I mean, you are saying it so easily at this moment of time, but I'm sure you have gone through painful, and it's interesting how you spoke about family and friends were there when you went through that discrimination, and that is like the utmost maximum discrimination one could ever go through. Yeah, when you when you go through that, and
Yeah,
it's very painful. It is still there happening at this
yeah,
century. Yeah.
Yeah.
Satya says, thank you. Was not aware that Zoo Negara was started by Rotarian. I am from Seremban. Would like to help from Rotarian to educate the public to neuter pets and strays in their respective areas. Very nice. Thank you, Satya. And Susan says, women can move the mountain. You are one of them, Dato. Yes, interestingly, you are. Now, Dato, a study by Women Aid Organization shows that more than 50%, 56% to be exact, of Malaysian women experience gender discrimination in the workplace. And many more facts and figures that I see. Yeah. So, my question to you is, how do we combat gender discrimination? Dato.
Yeah, you see, I'm repeating myself here again. We are all equals, and women are selected for a position because of their capabilities and not because of their gender. And women must believe in themselves first. And in Rotary, we do not discriminate. We give equal and fair opportunity to all. And even at our international level, we have seen a huge paradigm shift of supporting women in leadership roles. Now you see that they have a lot of we have a lot of directors, women trustees, and our first RI president. So and we need, the leaders themselves need to address this issue.
Yeah.
They have to put in policies of non-discrimination and non-harassment. And as far as I'm concerned, in our district, I have zero tolerance for this, and I will not accommodate any such discrimination or even harassment against the women in our Rotary district. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And I think by what you are saying, pretty much everyone should be a Rotarian so that you won't be discriminated. Yeah, that's nice to hear. Dato, I have got. I told you I've got this question that if you want to answer, please answer. If you don't want, I'm okay. Yeah, and
Sure.
the question goes like this: are there any Muslims in Rotary? My friends think that Rotary is Zionist. Now, I don't want to mention the name, but he is from Gombak. Would you want to take that question, ma'am?
Sure, by all means, it's be a pleasure to answer that question. Now, first of all, whenever we accept a Rotarian into Rotary, the first thing we tell them is, look, Rotary is non-political and non-religious. These are two things we do not speak about or do any projects about that are politically involved or religiously involved,
Okay.
because we are all equals. And we have a huge number of Muslims in our Rotary district. And the glaring fact is that a number of Rotary clubs in Malaysia, we have royal patrons, and including the Sultan of the States are sometimes our royal patrons, including our, in Perak, Negeri Sembilan, Terengganu, and they are all also head of Islam. Now, if we were Zionists, they wouldn't be our patrons as well. We are not Zionists. I do not know how this misconception started and how people get this idea, but we are not linked to being Zionists. We are, we've got races of all kinds in Rotary. We've got Muslims, Indians, Chinese, even our minorities are represented. And we also have Rotary clubs in the heart of Palestine. The
There you go.
Rotary Club of Ramalan, right smack in the heart of Palestine. And we have been doing great work in Palestine, in Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Rotary is so strong in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and even Bangladesh, and even the Muslim states in Africa. So please do not think that we are linked, we are Zionist based or Zionist linked. We are not.
There you go. Yeah. So to all our Muslim friends out there, remember Rotary International is not a Zionist club. Yeah. We admire and acknowledge the differences. Therefore, we work together hand in hand to make sure that we have a better life and a better world, I must say. Yeah. So again, many more messages coming, and I have to share this because it's interesting how people are very excited about Rotary and yourself as a woman being the district governor. So, Dato Bindi, Chef Gaya says this is a fantastic part of this live session. Thank you for capturing this moment in this live video. It's never easy to be a woman leader whom is accepted by the surrounding. Yes, Dato, you did it. So proud and privileged to know you. There you go. Imelda Jimmy Lim says Zoo Nagara was initiated by Tan Sri Wick Hudson, who remained as chairman from 1956 till 2004. There you go. More history about the Zoo Nagara. Imelda Simon says, thank you, Dato, for this sharing. Sri Deva Nayagi says, it's a mindset and a cultural thing. It's very subtle and sometimes very blunt, but it happens. Women have to unite and support each other. Then we can move mountains. Yes. Maureen says, thanks for sharing. God bless. Anil Gill says, love all, serve all, and amazing, yeah. And Dato Bindi, there are many more questions and comments coming, but we just do not have the time. So Dato, a message from you, if you may, to the many ladies and men out there on how serving the community helps in building one's own personality. Could you please, Dato?
Yeah, sure. You know, when you serve, you learn how to appreciate, and when you serve, you will also understand your own self-worth. And when you serve, you experience humility and compassion, and you naturally become a stronger person and do much better in your role, in your personal and in your professional lives. And when you serve, you bring dignity, hope for the beneficiaries. And let me leave you with a very short story. You know, there was this very ordinary man who takes the bus every day back to work. And his journey is very long. His workplace is far from his home. And whenever he boards the bus, he gives his seat up to anyone and everyone who does not have a seat when they board the bus. So there was another guy who was observing him, you know, for some time, and he went up to him and said, "Why do you do this? I can understand if you give your seat up to the elderly or the pregnant or, you know, someone who's a handicap or something, but you give your seat up to even younger people. So why do you do this?" And he said, "Sir, you know, I'm a very simple man. I'm not well educated, and I don't have anything to give, you know. And it makes me feel good to give my seat to another person so that person can sit down. And that's the only thing I can give. And in return, they say thank you. And that two words, thank you, means so much to me. You know, it means the world to me. It makes me feel I'm worthy, that I'm able to do something for someone in spite of my incapabilities and all that, you see. So, you know, it's you don't have to be at a high level or, you know, having so many resources, a rich person or something like that. Anyone can serve. You serve in your capacity, in your capability, and it will make a difference. Every little bit counts. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that story is definitely the motto of Rotary, yeah? Service above self.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
Dato Bindi, thank you so very much, Dato. So many meaningful and powerful messages that you have shared, yeah? For a good 1 hour, I must say, yeah? And it has been remarkable. Thank you so very much. Dato Bindi, on behalf of our people out there, and also from the many Rotarians around the world, here we are together wishing you success after success
Thank
in
you.
all that you do. And keep doing what you're doing, ma'am. You're simply amazing. Thank you so much, Dato Bindi.
Thank you. Thank you, Warren. See you
You're
again.
most
Bye.
you're most welcome. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. What can I say? Yeah? You know what? After listening to Dr. Bindi, I think I want to start yet another show dedicated specially to Rotary and its fabulous work in making our world a better place. What do you think? I shall keep you posted on the progress of this next in time to come. Till then, remember, the more you give with pure intent, no expectations, the more you will receive in abundance. I am more than I think. This is Warren signing off. Meet you again, same day, same time next week. Bye. Thanks, Ato.
Bye.